Alright, we have seen the first few previews of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, but there's still lots and lots and lots to see. We might be getting a few previews over the holidays, which would be good fun, but I thought it'd be interesting to have a look back at the previous mechanics and themes of Kamigawa, what's been said so far, and see if we can guess what's going to be coming soon. So, in the original Kamigawa sets, it was very rural Japan, as you can see. We've got some artwork up here from that rural time. But now we're going for this more futuristic setup. But what we've found out more recently is that rural side, that kind of more natural side and things that came from the kami spirits of Kamigawa is still going to be part of it. So I've put a set symbol on here. It's got a really interesting backstory to it. It's a really nice set symbol as well, one of the best ones for a while. And it's got you've got the traditional mountain landscape with the sunrise rising behind it. But you also have this, what they've called the glitch effect. And we saw that a little bit in the preview, trailer where you saw the glitch effect and you could see the Wanderer in that as well. So that's kind of shown the traditional side and the more modern side kind of coming together and being a little bit at odds, because that seems to be what's happening. So this looks like it's going to be some kind of like battle or something, or at least tension between the natural side, the kami spirits, and the more modern themes. And you can see kind of like futuristic ninjas and samurai. But I wouldn't be surprised if I saw some futuristic spirits as well, because when it was first announced, that's what I imagined to see. Kind of like these spirits in the machine, these computer spirits or something like that, which would be putting the spirit theme into the modern day. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on there. We've also got the mechanics from the previous sets, and you can see you've got Champions of Kamigawa, Betrayers of Kamigawa, and Saviors of Kamigawa, and they are known for not having the best mechanics. Gavin Verhey did a video quite recently on the 5 or 10 worst designed mechanics ever, and I think 3 of them were from this block. So I think sweeps were in there, epic was in there, and I can't remember what else, but they weren't really seen to be very good by and large. However, they have had a bit of renaissance, and the things that are really, really popular are the ones that are tied to a lot of the tribes. So particularly Bushido with Samurai and Ninjutsu with Ninjas, and we'll look at the tribes a little bit more in a second. But these are mechanics that are really, really popular, and they're the ones that I expect to see come back. Definitely Bushido, definitely Ninjutsu. I'd be surprised if they weren't, or if they weren't coming back in a different kind of form, or something very similar, but not something similar. We have seen one of the preview cards was a Ninja Planeswalker, and it makes ninjas which can't be blocked, which works really well with Ninjutsu, so I definitely expect to see that. And we have seen some Samurai artwork and iconography and stuff coming through as well, so I'll be expecting to see that as well. I'm going to talk about flip cards a bit more in detail later on, but there's a lot of these mechanics I wouldn't expect to see coming back, because to be honest they weren't even printed very much in the original form, and you know they are a bit pants, but we'll again look at those a little bit more detail in future. Next we are looking at the tribes a bit more detail. So we're still actually quite big tribes in this set. We've already talked about ninjas and samurai, but rats were also a big part of it, as well as snakes. And you know, the snakes really came in their own, so we could see a bit more of this. We haven't seen anything too much in the previews so far, or any hints towards that, but we could definitely see it. Spirits were quite a big part. These were the kami of Kamigawa, so they were spirits that came from Spirit Realm. It was a big war with the spirits, and we expect to see these are the ones which are trying to keep to the more traditional roots. Other ones we had foxes. As you can see, we've got a fox samurai here, as well as the moonfolk, So we've seen a little bit of the moonfolk in there's a planeswalker we've seen a little bit. I've just flashed it on the screen. But we've seen a little bit of moonfolk in that respect, but we've only ever really seen moonfolk on Kamigawa, so I do think we could see them again. I'd be surprised if we didn't see them, because it's an opportunity to print something about them again. The other thing which I mentioned earlier was some of these not great mechanics. So I've got a few on here, and like I said earlier, a lot of them were only printed on a small handful of cards, often all rares, things like Epic and things like that, where it's very, very narrow effects. You can't do very much with them. You don't want to see that happening a lot. So they might do a weird mechanic just as how much of this, but I wouldn't expect to see any of these mechanics come back. So I think we'll be staying away from these and focusing more on the tribal cards that we can see. One thing that might come back though in a different way is the flip cards. So these were invented before we had the double face cards anyway, so before the Innistrad transform cards, and they were a way to do this transforming aspect, as you can see. So this one, you got the Acme Lava Runner, 4 mana 1/1 haste, pretty rubbish, but when it deals damage to an opponent, you flip it, so you turn it upside down, and you can see the art then looks kind of from the other way. You've got this blue art in this respect, and it's got a totally different card. It's a totally different effect. Linked, okay, yeah, fair enough. It's definitely still a red card, which cares about damaging the opponent, but it is just a different card. It's a more powerful version. And we could definitely see something like this again, but I think if they do it these days, it's going to be on MDFCs. And I think they will use the opportunity to do something similar to it, but whether they can differentiate enough from Innistrad transform cards, I don't know, because a lot of these would, if put on MDFCs, would be pretty much the same thing as they originally were. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I could see them trying to bring MDFCs in. And I've said before that I'm not a big fan of having MDFCs in every set. I think they're good when they're brought in, a little bit like what I think with Sagas. But I think this would be an appropriate time to bring it in because we have had this aspect in before. Another thing we know that's coming back, and we've had some heavy suggestions that we're going to have a Praetor on here. I think Jin Kataxis is the one that's been said. There have been some spoilers, maybe confirming or denying this, but I'm sure there was something from Wizards which said that we would be expecting a Praetor to come in, but it's the Pharexians, and there's a number of mechanics linked to the Pharexians. So you got here Infect, Proliferate, Living Weapon, Pharexian Mana, and Imprint, some of which are more printable than others. Pharexian Mana is notoriously broken. Infect is problematic as well. Proliferate could happen. I think we could potentially see Proliferate, but that's not what I've got my money on. Originally, I did think Living Weapon could come in, but I've seen some stuff with the Commander decks which would make it difficult for them to put a lot of equipment themes in. There's something else that might be coming in there. But what I thought they could do with Living Weapon is kind of autonomous weapons, where it's got some kind of AI control or something. I thought that would be a way to do it, or with some kind of spirit instead of the germs. So I thought that was one way to do it. But what I think I might do is might just bring poison back. So we'll start with Finn the Fangbearer from Kaldheim, and they're experimenting with this area, and they could do it is something that the technology is infecting. It's infecting the rest of the Kawagama. It's Kamigawa. That's what the Kami are fighting against, this infection. So I think that's kind of what they could bring back. Not infect as infect, where it does -1/-1 counters, and the combat damage it deals to the player gives the poison counters to the player. Just something a bit more like Finn, where something will put poison counters on to a player, and they can win the game that way. So in summary, I think the big theme, which will cross over back from the original Kamigawa, is going to be the tribes. I think these are going to be coming back. I think we'll see all of the tribes in some way, but probably more so the samurai and the ninjas, because they're the ones that are really, really popular. But we'll see some rat stuff. We'll see some snake stuff as well. I think technology is going to play a big part, and we're going to see some technology coming through in some way. There's going to be that battle between tradition and the futuristic technology side. Whether that mean a lot of artifacts, I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to come about. It would be nice to see something that isn't just artifact based, a new way to bring technology in. But we'll have to wait and see what comes through. Like I say, the spirit and tradition side of things as well. We'll probably have more traditional spirits. We'll have might be a lot of destroy target artifact effects coming from the spirits. I don't know. There might be some way that the traditional and the futuristic elements clash or combine or something like that in the draft. That'd be interesting to see. Pharexian stuff, my money's on poison, but not poison as I know it. Poison a bit more like Finn. And then finally, the flip MDFCs, so some kind of MDFC which harkens back to the flip cards of original Kamigawa. So if you enjoyed the video, give us a like, give us a subscribe, as you do on all the YouTube stuff. You can see the Twitter handle in the top corner as well. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again soon for the top 5, 10 draft formats of the year. I'll have to wait and see how it comes out. Bye.